Tom Ricks appeared on Reliable Sources last week to talk about the David Petraeus saga. The veteran military reporter has been making the rounds with a new book out, so Fox News invited him on to talk about that network's favorite subject, the fatal attack in Benghazi. Let's just say the discussion with anchor John Scott didn't last very long. Scott began by asking about whether Republican opposition to Susan Rice potentially being nominated as Secretary of State made sense. Rice is the UN ambassador who, of course, went on the Sunday shows with what turned out to be wrong information about the attack.
I think that Benghazi generally was hyped by this network especially.
When you have 4 people dead, including the first UN ambassador, U.S. ambassador in more than 30 years, how do you call that hype?
I think, number one, I've covered a lot of firefights. It's impossible to figure out what happens in them sometimes. And second, I think that the emphasis on Benghazi has been extremely political, partly because Fox was operating as a wing of the Republican Party.
All right. Tom Ricks, thanks very much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
That was it. Less than 90 seconds. Ricks challenged Fox's role in pushing the idea of an administration cover-up, and he got the hook. Interview over. Sayonara. Thank you very much. But the controversy was just heating up. Michael Clemente, Fox's executive vice president, tells me that Ricks apologized to a staffer after the aborted interview. Now, Ricks flatly denies this, saying he told the staff member only that he was a little peevish after a tiring book tour. Now, there's little question that Tom Ricks was being a bit provocative, but does Fox News only allow guests who don't criticize Fox? Clemente says Ricks wasn't answering Scott's question, that this was a stunt, and a Bush League one at that. Ricks says he was indeed answering the question and writes on his blog, "What a bunch of wimps." He's also said he turned down an interview on MSNBC telling that network, "You're just like Fox, but not as good at it." So why didn't John Scott engage Ricks in a discussion instead of pulling the plug? That's not Scott's style, Clemente says, but it would have been better for the debate over Libya and for Fox News. I asked Ricks if he wanted to come back on this program, but sounding a little weary of the whole controversy, he declined.